Well, good morning and good afternoon, depending on what part of the nation you are in. We are Canadian Mortgage Hangout.tv. If you're following us on the Twitter, you can hashtag as you can see on Scotty's mug and on my mug here on hashtag CMHTV, where we broadcast every week at the same darn time, same darn channel, and we love you all for watching. So today, we are joined only by myself and Scott Dawson out at Paragon Pacific Mortgages. Scott, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Back from vacation.
That's right.
Missed a couple of CMH TVs, but it was relaxing. It was good.
So just to recap, Scott was in Vegas for the Verico show, came home just to change his underwear, then he flew out the next day. There's his word. Flew out the next day for a week-long jaunt in a sunny destination. So, yeah, welcome back. And
it's good to be back, though.
Our other partners in crime, Jackson Middleton, the Kilted Broker, at the Kilted Broker, is not with us today, as well as Gord McCallum. He is they're both away doing some other good stuff, probably inking deals, inking hot leads. Who knows? But we wish them well. So 2 weeks ago, Scott and I couldn't be on the show, so it turned out to be the First Foundation show, and then today. It is the Verico show. We got Verico Pacific Mortgages, Paragon Pacific Mortgages, and the Mortgage Wellness Group, your healthy bank alternative. So today, what are we going to talk about, Scotty? We got some stuff we want to talk about, but this might go off the rails.
That's what Christine said there. Hopefully, we won't go off the rails. Let's talk. You had the conversation. It was after Vegas, right? We had the conversation. I wasn't there. I was away again. But you guys talked a little bit about what was talked about in Vegas. Some of the ideas and all the learning that went on. Let's talk about execution. What are we going to do now to take it forward? What are we going to do? That's the hard part, right?
Absolutely is the hard part. So yeah, going to these events are always good for networking with people in your network. Allow myself to introduce myself. But it's we get all fired up and we get some great ideas, and we go back to our office and most of us get back into the same rut that we were in before we went away. So what are some of the things to do to make sure that you execute? Maybe people on the Twitter can tweet out to us to let us know what you do to execute. I tell you what I try to do is I try to purge my brain. Just get a piece of paper. I'm a paper guy. I've got a yellow pad of paper right beside me here on my desk that I just pick up at Staples. I always have a pad of paper near me, and I'm always just hammering stuff down on the page, because if I don't do that, it'll escape me. There are a lot of pretty advanced technologies out there that'll allow you to put it on a to-do list in the cloud or whatever, or on your phone. That never works for me. It's got to be in front of me on a piece of paper. And what I do is I just purge my brain. I just purge my brain so I get all my ideas out, and then I kind of go down the list and see what's going to be the most effective for my business. And then, yeah, I just kind of do that. I don't know. How about you? What do you do, Scotty?
I'm kind of the same way. As much as we talk about technology and what we're, we went into work for online social media and everything else. It comes down like really old school. I got my book, same idea. It's loaded with stuff, that my to-dos for the days, everything else to go through. So, I guess the big thing is now going forward, and it's good that we're kind of talking about this, because we're basically 6 months into the year, right? So we can look at. I'm a big business plan guy, so I actually had almost the same conversation with Lori last night on the phone. We were talking for probably 2 hours, following up with what we've, the stuff we learned, the takeaways we had, and now it's kind of like, well, let's, no more let's do this. Let's just actually do it, right? So today it's like literally a list of things. We need to get these cards made. We need to do this on the website. We have to, there's a list of probably like 5 or 6 things that we have to do, that we're going to keep going, because we look, you look at your numbers after 6 months, and we did, and because you can look at what, if we're looking at how many deals we've done, or how much if you wanted to look at how much revenue, how much you're going to make, right? Basically, we can look 6 months, we've made this much. If we keep doing the same thing, we're probably going to do this. We're probably going to double it, right? Like, that's just kind of what's going to happen. Now we're figuring out what do we actually have to do in order to increase that. So that's kind of our to-dos list, and execute and start moving forward. It's just have to buckle down and do it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree anymore. We are at the 6 month mark, and it's a perfect opportunity to look back on the year and to see even down like going down to client wise,
Mhm.
what type of demographic those clients are, what the sources are, your app to fund ratio, divided up by the source and the type of client, age, profession, all that stuff. If you can sit down with a good old cup of coffee and just kind of go through it in the evening and go, yeah, great experience, horrible experience, whatever, and then and see what's working for you, because I can almost guarantee you, um, it changes for me, but it's pretty consistent, and my sources are pretty consistent, and that's where you really need to lean on the accelerator pedal for those. Me personally, I want to double my business from last year. um, I'd be lying to say that it's actually there on pace. It's very close for being on pace. So it's not. It's if year over year, if it's not at 100% like projected annualized, it's in between the 80 to 100% already, which is great because it shows that we're doing the right things and we're doing the right kind of business. Which is good. All growth is always good, and even if it's 20% growth, you're going to get to a point where people are going to get to a volume point where if you're doing 60 to 70 or 80 or 100 million, you can't do 75% growth year over year. It starts to become 10% or 15% or 20%. But growth is definitely good, and if you're neutral, maybe that's okay. Maybe there's people out there. I'm assuming, Scott, that you probably know some brokers too who are maybe they're doing 30 or 40 million and that's their sweet spot and they don't want to grow that. They're totally fine because I've had this discussion with some other brokers about what's that transition, where's that leap in volume amount where, and this is going to be different for maybe your market than my market because of the price difference, but where's that split where you can manage to underwrite your own deals, have somebody helping you at the front desk. Where's that point where you got to take on another staff member and make that leap, right? So you're going to spend 50 to 80,000 on a salary, maybe to hire an underwriter. You got to now make that up in
You got to
deals,
make
right?
that
Because
up.
you're losing that now. So where is that sweet spot? And in my market, I think that sweet spot's 30 to 40 million. And if you want to get past that, then you've got to maybe take somebody on.
Well, we've kind of had that discussion before, with some of the other guys here, in terms of when to bring people on. But I guess if you're happy with what you're doing, then that's the great thing about this business too, right? If you're happy doing what you're, making a certain amount what you're doing, you don't want to grow any bigger. You're living a good life. You're paying the bills and you're enjoying yourself. That's okay too, right? You don't have to necessarily take it to the next level if you don't want to. There's lots of brokers that don't, and that's okay. And I think everybody kind of goes through different phases in their business too, right? You have different life events sometimes take precedence over your business for better or worse, right? So it's kind of like a uh, flowing kind of business, which is great about being an entrepreneur, I guess too. Gives you that flexibility as long as you can bounce back if you want to. Um,
Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say. We kind of talk, not going to switch gears here, but we kind of talked briefly about off air about some of the stuff we're going to implement and have begun to implement, and we're kind of on the same page. I think it's kind of interesting how we win an award in Vegas for kind of online social media leadership, but we're both on the same page in terms of taking our business a lot more offline as well, going forward, and a lot more personalized kind of physical touches, and as opposed to email and web and that kind of stuff. So I find that interesting, but I guess again, it's
Well, here's my take on that. Is that um, being the black sheep, whether it's in marketing or business, is always a good thing in my opinion. Because as the herd's running towards the cliff, the black sheep's running the other way, right? In 2000 and I think I joined Twitter in 2000 and it might be 2010. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But as well as I do, nobody was on there, and the very few brokers that were on there either A got it or B bought all their followers when you could still do that. and overnight you had 75,000 followers because apparently size mattered back then, right? But sorry for the pun, everybody. But it's funny now. I'm still all over engaging with people in your community, and engaging with potential business partners, and potential clients. And it's so easy these days to start that online. It's so easy with Instagram. Well, you know, a perfect example. I was at a golf tournament yesterday, a realtor golf tournament. I connect with people on Instagram in town. I like their photos. I genuinely like their photos, and they like mine. And we meet face to face. We got that icebreaker now. Oh, it's you. Yes. How are you? Oh, you know, back, you know, step that up a couple of years ago. It's very cold. That first initial response is very cold. And I think the use of social platforms, whether it be Instagram, or Facebook or Twitter or whatever, it takes down those walls. It takes down those walls. They get to peer into your life. They get to see who you are and how you spend your time, and you know. But to add to what you're saying, yes, taking it offline. As we see in marketing as well, by the way, you'll see a lot of, make note of this, people who are watching, you'll see a lot of online advertising, and if you click through that online advertising and you go to their website with the offer, they take you back offline as quickly as possible. So something like the Flight Center, if you go to the Flight Center and you're looking up prices, you'll notice that there's an 800 number that you can call to get a salesperson in your area, because they want you off the internet as quickly as possible as they can. You know why? Because their competition is sitting right there in the banner ads. They can't get away from that anymore. So, you know, take note of this. I'm all in on offline. I like email newsletters kill me. They kill me, even in our industry. And I don't know why. I mean, they're probably very effective for a lot of people. They kill me because I don't open that stuff. I don't open that stuff. And if I go home today and there's a handwritten card in my mailbox from my dentist saying, "Hey Rob, thanks for coming in last week. You still have a god-awful smile, but we love your business. You know, here's $5 to off your next visit." I don't know, something, whatever. I don't care. That means something to me, man. That means something to me, especially if they've taken the time to handwrite it. So that's what I'm all in on right now. I got to be honest. How about you?
Kind of on the same page. Now you can, but the good part about this is you can kind of leverage. You can leverage that from social media as well, right? Like, example, you have you follow people on Twitter. You have, obviously, you're probably hopefully following your clients and everything else. So you can see what they're doing, right, day to day. Perfect example with the card. At one point, somebody was complaining about their Monday, having a bad Monday, and I sent them, but it's no strings attached. It's like, hey, I saw you were having a crappy day. Here's coffee on me next time, and it's just a little touch like that. People, I mean, I like receiving stuff like that. It doesn't even have to be anything in it. If I've gone for coffee with people I've met, and they've, a week or so later, I get a card just saying, hey, thanks again for connecting. We should, shouldn't be so long in between, kind of thing. And I think that, I think going forward, I think I have to make a better effort at that, and that's going to be our focus in business going forward is more personalized touches that way, and keeping on top of it that way, and not relying on email. We had a great discussion after one of the keynotes with his name is completely
That's okay. He can remain nameless for his own privacy's sake.
Completely lost. But on the panel discussion, and he was saying he does not email clients.
Mind blown. Mind blown.
Pick up the phone.
He closes. So let's just repeat what. And I said this last week actually when Gordon Jackson were asking me about Vegas. Mind blown. Like people were sitting there going, "This guy's an idiot. He doesn't email his clients. Who doesn't do that? He doesn't, and his sales staff don't. He calls everybody over the phone. Let them hear your voice. Smile into the phone. It still works. And if you set up that expectation for clients that, hey, we don't communicate over email, it'll all be over the phone, and our voice, our phones are he didn't say this, but I can only assume that they have invested in a system where all the calls are recorded. Because if you're taking apps over the phone and somebody says, yeah, I make $120,000 a year and I've got great credit, and they put the application out before documentation comes in, and it turns out they're derog on something, and they only make $34,000 base salary. Well, you got him on the phone. Like, what do you want from me, right? But he calls everybody. Amazing, amazing. I get so many emails a day. I hate email. I start to hate email. I want to talk to people.
That's what happens. We're getting bombarded. Just think of your clients. The same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've looked at things like talking, going back and forth with email threads, and you're looking at, and all of a sudden you're emailing someone back and forth, probably throughout the day. There's 15, 20 or more emails on this deal, and if you actually picked up the phone, you could probably have the question done in a minute, 2-minute conversation and finished. It would take you less time.
Yeah, and I don't have stats on this, but I can almost guarantee you somebody's run a stat on it. And if you're watching and you're like actually I have a good buddy who's a statistician, maybe I'll ask him to do this. But if you're in an email chain that's 20 emails long in a day or two, you get frustrated because the conversation, it's just like going back to handling sales objectives at like belly to belly. When somebody has an objective, the cookie cutter thing for you to do is say, okay, Scott, I understand your concern. Is there anything else that concerns you? Get them all out, right? Yep, good. And then address them all, and then we're done. There's no more objectives. There's no more chance for them to go, oh, there's one, pull a Columbo. There's just one more thing. And I think those email bounces back and forth are deal killers because there's not enough concentrated, and who wants to sit in front of an email and write a 28 paragraph explanation email? Like, so yeah, anyway, offline, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what more to say about that. What else do we want to talk about? There's a camp golf tournament in Toronto. I was at a golf tournament yesterday. Let's talk about golf tournaments, Scotty. Do you do?
I'm a huge golfer, and I have barely been out this year.
Yeah, Scotty's a huge golfer. I'm a huge hacker, and our question is: first of all, I want to say hello to Hallie, our good friend Hallie at Fizzgard.
When's Hallie coming on the show?
I don't know, Hallie. You got to come on the show. I know she's watching right now. We want you on the show. Please email us. Email me at rob@therobcampbell.com or Scott at
scott.dawson@verico.ca.
Scott.dawson@verico.ca. Hallie Strandland. There you go. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry. Christine Bowman writes, I couldn't agree more. I do handwritten thank you cards, and I've gotten an awesome response over the years. Thank you, Christine, for your comment and your tweet. See? It works. We're at a point in our society where when we get something in our mailbox that's actually hand-addressed and it's to us from somebody, it's like winning the friggin' lottery. Like
not a bill. It's nice.
Yeah, it's not a bill. It's not a pizza postcard. It's not some crappy value pack filler crap in your mailbox. It's it's addressed to me. Oh, it's my mortgage broker. Oh, they're wishing me a happy birthday, and there's a $5 like people. Let's just stop for a second and think of when you have a client coming in. Let's say the average commission from coast to coast average is $2,000. Let's just say, okay. Let's say $2,500 average commission. Do yourself a favor, write down right now how many birthdays your client's going to have in that term. Let's say 5 on average. The card's going to cost you 50 cents, maybe $1. This postage is going to cost you maybe $1. So that's 2. And the $5 coffee card, that's 5, 6, 7. Let's even take that up to $10. $50 over the term of the loan. You just made $2,500. Surely you can allocate $50 at the bare minimum. We're not talking about anniversary cards for the home. We're not talking about letters about a newsletter to their home. We're not talking about just birthday cards with something in it. Because please note, I had a friend of mine who gets a birthday card from another broker, and in it has a birthday card, and the guy opens it every year and goes, "The frig." There's nothing in here. Why are you sending me a birthday card if there's nothing in here? Like nothing physical. A $5 coffee card goes a long way, right? You just said it. When you sent that, when somebody tweeted out and you sent them that coffee card, I'm sure they went over the moon.
Yeah, it doesn't cost a lot. That's for sure. So we can't forget. But I guess the big thing is having stuff like that ready. Like I'm obviously not in my office. I'm at home for the hangout. But you have to have these things ready, right? Like you have to have cards on your desk, a stack, and a stack of cards in your desk for coffee or whatever you're doing, little giveaways and that kind of stuff. And systems. You have because you can talk about it, go, oh yeah, I got to send that person a card. But if you have it sitting in front of you and it's part of the it has to be part of the system. You get a referral, you send a thank you card. That's it. You're done.
Yep.
And you have it there. There's no running to the store to buy some more cards. Everything else you have to it has to be done.
Yep.
And ready to go.
Absolutely.
That's the hard part. That's the hard part.
The hard part is always doing the work and setting up the system. Once all that hard work's done and setting up the system, you just got to follow the system. And that's what. Go ahead.
It's not that hard to. It's not that really hard to do it once you're set up either. It takes you, if you got a stack, if you have it ready, it takes you literally 5 minutes to stuff an envelope.
Absolutely. Or have them pre-stuffed. Have the stamp, the return address already on the cards, all that stuff. Literally, you just got to write the person's name, have the gift card already in there, and their address. It take you 2 seconds. Surely somebody's going to be able to drive by a Canada Post box within their commute somewhere, or take it down to the post office. Doesn't even have to be every day. Just save it for one day of the week when you're doing your groceries or something. I don't know. So anyway, old school marketing. For the irony of Scotty and I winning the Social Media Leadership Awards at the Verico event, which we are very grateful for. Thank you, Verico, again. We kind of all are going back to basics. Hallie just tweeted again. She was at the golf tournament in Toronto, the camp golf tournament in Toronto. It was really fun. Love seeing everyone. Weather was iffy, but of course Angus Glen was really nice. So yeah, golf tournaments. Scott, you're a big golfer. You love golf. I used to be a lover of golf. Then I had children, and I don't have that much time anymore to go golfing. But I went yesterday to a realtor event here in Guelph, and that was interesting. It was good to be out. They put on a nice event. Do you guys sponsor golf tournaments?
No, we've had. I've been to a few here, and we did kind of briefly talk about this too. We haven't sponsored one. I don't see the point. Honestly don't see the point. It's tough. There's all these things, right? There's trade shows you can go to. There's everybody's always looking. There's always opportunities, right, to go but again, you have to look at the cost and the return on that. And it's to spend the money. It's tough to say. Like I don't know what it would cost to sponsor a hole at the Realtors tournament, but personally, if I was looking at that, I would go, how am I actually going to get in front of the consumer? Who's going to be at this golf tournament? And if it's a group of other realtors and mortgage brokers, is that actually going to be a benefit to me or not? Like, would I rather get in front of 150 people in the industry, or would I rather get in front of 150 people that are consumers that might need my services? So we've never done an industry. We've never sponsored the industry one. I don't want to say I don't see the point. I just don't know whether there's a return on that.
Yeah, you're being nice. You don't see the point, and neither do I. I've done it 2 years in the past. I'd never do it again, and I'll tell you why. I'd rather support the people that I'm most highly interested in doing business with and forming a relationship with. That's not, that in Toronto there's like 35,000 realtors on the board. Like what?
I've talked with realtors and other people about sponsoring stuff like this. So, for example, say it costs $500 to sponsor a hole. It's probably more than that. You're spending $500, for example. Now, could you take that money and spend it on?
I would
somehow on past clients. I know one realtor. He actually goes around in the summertime, instead of sponsoring this kind of stuff, he'll take the money. He buys half decent bottles of wine, goes around to his top clients of the year, drives by and says, hey, it's a summer. Here's a bottle of wine for when you're having a barbecue.
Bingo.
Thanks for your business.
Bingo. But you know what? To flip it around back onto the realtors, as a mortgage professional, trying to be there and in front of them, it is what it is. We're not stupid. They're not stupid. Everybody knows it's a big chin wag opportunity. But here's the thing: don't be so cliche. This is my opinion. Don't be so cliche. The ones that you do business with and they send you referrals and you the reciprocity, you send your clients to them as well. Those are the people that you're going to go and have have lunch with on a Friday afternoon, or end up inviting over to maybe your house, or likewise on the weekend. That's awesome. Spend the time and money on those relationships, because you know what? They're the ones that are going to be in their office and say to their colleagues, as the colleagues are mumbling about the last deal that fell apart or whatever, they're going to go, you know what? You should really just call Scott. Like, just call him. He's a no bullshit guy. I get this all the time. I had somebody yesterday that I said hello to in passing, and they said, yeah, somebody just said that I needed to get a hold of you, and I said, oh, was it this person? They said, no, it was somebody else. I went, oh wow, two people. I guess the bribe checks are not bouncing. That's a good thing. You know, I just kind of robbed it up a little bit with a little bit of joke, breaks the ice, and people are out there speaking your good name, and I'm an OBS kind of guy, and people know that about me. You know, if and you know as well as I do, and people watching here on CanadianMortgageHangout.tv, your only nonpartisan mortgage broker show. They know if you're an OBS guy, and the clients will call you, and they preempt them. I've had realtors say to my clients, your bank's saying this. Give this guy a call, and he's a no bullshit guy. You call him, he'll give you 5 minutes of his time, and within that 5 minutes you can kind of pre-qualify where they're standing. We know if we can help them or not, and we'll say, no, you better stay, that's a better deal where you are, unfortunately, blah blah blah, but it is the best for you. That's it. That goes a long way. And to tie it back, follow that up with some old school marketing, folks. Send them a letter and say, thanks so much for the opportunity. If you have friends or family looking for non-partisan, non-biased help, this is how we grow our business. Do that. You'll be surprised. Just try it for the next 6 months. You'll be surprised. I'll go to the Twitter. We don't have it. Oh. Hallie, CMHC, we stopped sponsoring as well. I take broker clients out as a thank you, but sponsorship has no ROI. Good point, Hallie. You got to keep the people that are close to you close to you. You got to spend time with them. Put them in ABC buckets. My good friend Mark says this. Put them in ABC buckets. Your A bucket is you will fight tooth and nail to keep those relationships alive, because they are your core group of people sending you referrals. Your B bucket is people that, if they won't deter their clients away from you, if they know their clients are working with you, they would not deter them away. You got to bring them into the A, because they're already kind of halfway there. You got to warm them up, bring them in the A. So maybe they're the people you try to reach out to every 6 months, breakfast, lunch, whatever, right? The A people are the ones you're dropping off wine to every couple of weeks, or sending them coffee cards or whatever, right? The C bucket, they're the bucket you just let go. They'll never like you. That's the 20%, 80-20 rule, right? They're the 20% of the people that are giving you 80% of your problems. Ignore them. But keep your close people close to you. Don't spend $1,000 or $15 or $2,000 on sponsoring an event, and what really is the ROI, right? So
it's easier to keep a client than it is to get a new one, or referral source, or whatever, right? Whatever you're talking
absolutely,
about.
Absolutely.
Either or. So keep them happy.
Keep them happy. I think we're almost at time there.
Yeah.
Let's see if we got any more questions on the Twitter.
You're doing a good job.
Oh, thank you.
On the Twitter,
thank you.
Jackson will be proud.
Yeah, thanks. I got small shoes to fill with Gord being the moderator all the time. So. We do miss our brothers in arms, and so Hallie, I know you're watching, because obviously you're tweeting, and we need to have you on, Hallie. So give us an email, and we want to have more women on the show, because Lord knows we hate women, and we need more women on our show. So Sabina Bubber, we've had her on. She's always a great guest. Christine Bowman's supposed to come on soon, I think. Hallie as well, and any other ladies out there in Mortgage Land that are watching, or if you know anybody.
We need the Prince George girls back on. We haven't had them on for a while.
Yeah. The Prince George girls. Yeah.
Michelle.
Yeah. We met some pretty good people in Vegas with our chain, our network, who solid ladies. We need some more. We need some more guests like that on. So.
Yeah, Vegas was a good time. Definitely, I didn't. I mean, obviously, didn't have a chance last week. I know you probably said it, but just a
Yeah, you know what?
classically.
Wrap up the show with your comments about Vegas. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
it was great. It was perfect amount of time. Vegas. I mean, 3 days in Vegas is perfect amount of time. The conference was. They're gonna have a hard time, I think, topping it in the next. I don't think they do it every year, every 2 years, right? I think they're gonna have a hard time topping that because they did such a good job, just smooth running. So the organization on that was top notch. I enjoyed it because it wasn't. Oh, we still had a good amount of free time, which is nice. And Vegas is a great, obviously great place to spend your free time. Um, and it was really good. I guess my only critique of the show, I mean, my favorite part of it was obviously the panel discussions. Uh, I think they could fill a show with maybe more of those, because that's like the nitty gritty on what we're faced with every day. So to be able to listen to a panel of 4 or 5 professionals that are in this industry and have been in this industry for a long time, and we can have that question and answer with them. That's just, I mean, that's amazing. That's worth the price of going there just to have that. Um, Maybe I'd like to see more of that. And I guess no, I mean, food was great. The award show was great. I was blown away. The opening reception was amazing. Um, Definitely a great event from start to finish. Good representation by all the. I mean, I would say almost every lender was there, so that's kind of nice to see.
Yep.
To finally meet some of these people that we've met online. Finally get to see them in person, right? A lot of these people that I know you've never met Sabina and all these people, right? That you talk to and you talk to online, but you don't see offline.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Worth
It
it
was
right
a
there.
fantastic event. When and those lenders all being there, it was a lot of the top people, a lot of the top CEO VPs
Mhm.
of these lenders. And the good thing about that is that when you're sitting beside them at dinner, they tip really large, so you can at least steal half of the tip, and the server wouldn't even know.
High rollers.
So
High
thank you.
rollers.
So thank you. Boy. Yeah, so you know what? I think that's a wrap. We don't have any more comments or questions on the Twitter.
On the
Again,
Twitter.
thanks for all your feedback and all your support, everybody that watches us every week and on the weekend. And we'd love to have more people on. If you're camera shy, that's cool. Don't worry about it because it's all good. Come on. We want some more good people on our show. And hope Jackson and Gord are doing well. And yeah, from CanadianMortgageHangout.tv or CMHTV on the Twitter. Send us your suggestions, your comments, and thanks for watching.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.